this is embarrassing. This is our Blem bumper collection. Not our full collection. This is only 69 fronts. Here's what's been happening. For years, as our truckloads of bumpers come in, 1 in 20 or so don't meet the criteria of show quality $395 bumpers. So what we've been doing for the last decade is pulling those aside and saying, hey, let's use that on one of our own cars one of these days. Let's sell that to a local guy that walks in and wants to save a buck. Well, how many of our own cars do we have? Not this many. There's only 13 people at work here. So anyway, we've taken these bumpers out of the wrapper and we're putting them on display here for you walk-ins and for you guys that want to call in. We aren't going to put these on our website because there's too much variation here. Like this one here, it's ugly. It's got ... all the way here. And it's got hammer marks, weld marks. I mean, it'll look great on a driver, but this bumper, I would sell it for $200 outright, or if somebody gave me a nice core and 50 bucks, they'd have a shiny bumper on their car. Then we got one, here's one at $345. There's really nothing wrong with this except for 2 tiny little scratches here. And normally it wouldn't even show, except these are such high luster bumpers that just even the tiniest scratch shows up. And we got an NOS mirror here, or NOS one here that's not mirror-like finish. It has some tiny scratches. Again, give us a call. We give extra credit if you have extra cores to trade in. And we got them all the way down to 50 bucks to $350 and everywhere in between. Okay, I need to talk to you a second about core bumpers. I'm constantly asked, what's a good core? What's a bad core? Can this core of mine be refinished? Let me tell you some of our clues here, what makes a good core and a bad core. This here has some pretty heavy rust pock marking. Most likely, we could polish and polish and polish on this and get a smooth surface. It'll work, but the end result is you have a thin bumper that if you get in a little fender bender is going to crinkle up pretty easy. But this is a reject core for another reason. Here, let me get this hammer here. This is from the East Coast. And for years and years and years, salt from road spray has been eating away at this, all in there. So when I take a hammer, look at this. Yeah, don't waste your money shipping me parts like this because we have to throw it in the scrap metal. The good news is we got cores for sale if yours doesn't pass the muster. Now this core right here is the reason we highly encourage you to send your cores in advance of purchasing your bumper. Reason being is I'm going to core match. I hold a few back out of every batch that when we sent them in, there wasn't a mark on them. This has never been replated. There's no tap marks, there's no grind marks. This has never been dinged. It's never lost its form in any way, shape, or form. You send me a core like this, you're gonna get a premium product in exchange. I will not send out my premium bumpers without getting a core first like this. You'll get an average one. And average ones look great, but when you turn them over, they're going to show telltale signs of being straightened. Here's another question I get asked. Hey, mine has holes from a trailer hitch or fog lights or whatever. That can be fixed. It costs money. They charge us extra to weld up these holes and polish them and everything. So there will be a fee associated with that. I think they charge about $25 a hole at present on this. So that doesn't make the core garbage. It just makes it more expensive to do. But do ask us about extra credit when you send in more than one bumper in exchange. Some guys find them cheap at swap meets or whatever, collect a few of them, send them in, and they get their bumper free, meaning no shipping, no charge whatsoever. Just trade me enough cores and we give you a nice bumper. Bent bumpers. This is about the extent of what you'd want to see for a acceptable core. I'm not going to call this a good core. I'm going to call this an acceptable core. Notice it's not kinked anywhere. Notice it's not cracked anywhere. It's not rusty and it hasn't been rechromed before, so you still got thick, solid metal to deal with. It's not stripped out here. It's not rusted out here. So even though this bumper is pretty ugly, it's going to come out looking show quality when it's done. I want to talk a little bit about our premium grade bumpers. This is what I call a triple plate, show quality, no excuses bumper. When I say triple plate, we're talking about copper, nickel, and chrome, one layer each. The best results on our show quality bumpers come when you send a core in that's never been hit. And as we turn this over, look at that. We don't see any heavy rust. We don't see where any cracks have been welded. It's pretty much no excuses here. It was just a polish and rechrome type bumper. The beauty of that is every line is gonna, when you polish them, you lose a little definition in these spots like this. And when you straighten them, this won't always have as crisp and clean look. So if you want a top-notch bumper, you got to send us in a top-notch core in advance. If you don't have a top-notch core, there's a go-around. You send in an average-looking core, we can upgrade you for a fee based on how much work we feel it needs. So, or if you have 2 cores and you send us 2 average cores, we might be able to trade you for 1 premium core. Limited supply. Anyway, when you send them, you don't need gigantic amounts of packaging. We don't care if they get scratched. Just a little bit of cardboard or stretch wrap or something. And then the beauty about the 67 and 8s is you can put a rear inside a front and put them together. So ship them the cheapest way possible, the least amount of wrapping, and put some insurance on them and they'll be good to go. We usually keep about 100 to 150 bumpers on hand at all times. So if you're in a hurry and you want your bumpers next week, there's a definite advantage of doing it this way as opposed to sending it to the local chrome shop at $500 each exchange, because they usually take between 2 and 3 months. One last thing, if you haven't already, sign up for our weekly email specials at cougarpartscatalog.com. We got a little box there that you put your email address in, and occasionally we have a 5 to 10% discount on bumpers or maybe bumper related items or shipping or whatever. So sign up for that, and combined with sending us extra cores or buying a Blem, there's been more than one of you recently that not only got your rechromed bumper, you got a check in the mail to boot. Thanks for watching.